Hola, good peoples.
Hello, hello, hello.
I look homeless.
No.
I'm gonna add something to my attire real quick.
What are you gonna add to your attire?
I look homeless.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. Hold on. I look homeless.
Who does that as soon as they press live? Well, welcome people to your reality check. My name is Favor. My best friend is not here with us today, but keep her uplifted, her and her family. All love. William. I can't tell if anybody is in here. That makes you less homeless?
Slightly.
Let's see.
All right, hello everyone. This makes me look slightly less homeless.
Okay.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on?
Oh my gosh. How's your week going?
My week has been okay. I'm not homeless, you guys.
Thank
okay,
God.
not yet. I might be soon.
No, you won't.
But my week was cool. Therapy was really hard so far this week. I got therapy tomorrow.
Physical therapy.
Yeah, physical therapy. I stopped going to like a counselor therapist in college basically because after I graduated, it wasn't free no more.
That's the story. Yeah.
Like, I did therapy through college for maybe at least 4 straight semesters, and it was great. And then I graduated, I'm like, oh, this is not free no more.
And therapy costs, especially that first session.
They'd be like, ooh, you want to pay money for me to listen to you?
You got a lot of issues. You need to come back.
So I just,
That's what they told me.
that's really why some people smoke weed.
I don't feel like that.
But
helps.
weed costs more than a therapist.
No, it doesn't.
Oh wait, weed is cheaper than a therapist. Unless
What are you talking about?
Unless you in Cali paying like $60 a G.
No. People have that discussion all the time, weed for depression and anxiety. I don't know. I don't feel like it affects everybody the same.
What do you mean?
Some people's are heightened by it, and some people's are softened by it.
I don't know, it brings you to the state that you, I guess, desire to be in. But, it's not good to always be, in a very, I don't want to call it sunken, because that's not what it is.
That's what it feels like.
But that you're in a sunken place?
You shouldn't rely on anything to take you to where you want to be, like any outside source. It's all within.
Yeah.
Let it go.
And, you should depend on the Lord for your strength, but also depend on my food for my strength, too.
Who provided
to give me,
food?
I don't know, Aldi's, Aldi's provided,
Wow.
Hallelujah.
Aldi's.
I praise God for Aldi's every day.
My sister pronounces it Aldi's. She live in Baltimore.
Do they have Aldi's there?
Yeah.
Don't they have Safeways, too?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know,
I wasn't grocery shopping when I lived there.
Shout out to Safeway, if y'all still exist. And shout out to Citgo, because y'all somewhere out there.
Yeah.
All right, but today we're talking about picking the right passions and picking your poisons. I don't know, what do you kind of get from that whole topic title? What do you get from that thought process? What you feeling on that?
Well, I was thinking, I first wanted to define what a passion is. Is that the thing that you do, or is it the reason that you do what you do?
I think yes.
Yes.
I think a passion is both what you are very interested in, or what you deeply care to do, and the reasons why you care to do certain things. Because sometimes you may not be passionate about the specific thing, but what you do for it is really great, if that makes any sense. So some people become doctors not necessarily because they're oh, being a doctor is great, but because they're just so passionate about people, and they find that their strength is something as far as the medical field, or something as far as chemistry or something like that, and they delve into that, and they find joy in that because they're fulfilling their passion of helping people in a specific thing, as far as what they do, and they're utilizing a strength that they have.
Yeah. So the medicine is like the path.
It's the vessel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the helping people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Or specifically helping people that are sick. Like you may be like, oh, I want to help people that are sick. How can I help people that are sick? And then you're like, oh, I have a natural ability for blank. I'm just gonna hone in on this.
Yeah.
And then boom, you meet your skills with your cares.
Mm-hmm.
And then boom, now you get your passion.
Put the pieces together. So now we have our definition for passion. So now, what is our poison? Is that the thing that guides us astray from our passion, or the thing that we cling to instead of?
I would say our poison is the hell that we're willing to go through. You really don't have any real success without sacrifice. And choosing your poisons or picking your poison is choosing what you're willing to sacrifice. Are you willing to sacrifice your time for this? Are you willing to sacrifice?
Is that poisonous though?
Huh?
Is that poisonous? The sacrifice. So the sacrifice is the poison.
If you go,
Wait, the poison
if
is
you
the
live by the ideology of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, then sure, you know, just because you get hit by some poison ivy doesn't mean that you're gonna die. But you break out in a rash, and then your body learns to deal with that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And or you as a person learn what to do. And that's the whole thing about sacrifices. Like going through your sacrifices, I feel like, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like going through sacrifices, you learn how to navigate things appropriately in life. So you necessarily may not have to deal with those again, or if it arises again, it doesn't necessarily become a stumbling block, but you start to use it as a stepping stone.
Exactly, yeah. Okay. So it's not really poisonous at all, as long as you utilize it correctly.
Yeah, but it's just like, it's just like, well, it is poisonous though, because it's kind of like how you get like a shot, and they're actually injecting you with like the virus, and it is kind of poisoning you, but your body is learning to deal with it. Same thing with learning with situations in life. Some situations may not be good to you, but they're good for you. And the poison is the fact that it's not necessarily good to you. But that's just my ideology.
No, I totally understand. I just realized you never asked me about my week. You are not gray at all.
All right, I asked you about your week beforehand, but I didn't ask about it when the camera.
You have to ask me on the show.
All right, how was your week? How was your week? I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you, Will. My week was great. Thank you for stopping the conversation to ask me. My week was great. I had a great week. I did my first radio interview yesterday.
How did that go?
It was very good, so I'm excited. It's gonna air on Monday at 10 p.m.
Where?
Everybody watch it. Z88.
Okay. Who interviewed you?
You know it was Cam.
Oh.
That's my buddy.
Okay. All right.
Oh. Do we have comments? Where are people
No, I don't
at?
think we got comments in here.
Where are y'all?
I see people watching, but I don't
Say
see
something.
people commenting.
I'm giving up on you. Ugh.
That song old.
Yeah.
Or not, really.
It's very relevant right now. 'Tis the season.
It's not the holiday season yet, is it?
Well, it's not a holiday song.
No comments in here yet.
Okay, so we're talking in the context, kinda,
Of picking your poison and choosing your passions.
of choosing your passions and picking your poisons. So, we didn't read the book by Charlemagne, but
You don't have to tell people
I
that.
know.
You don't have, like...
but we're going to, and we listened to the interview, and
I got other books on my list.
well, you didn't mention those.
I got I didn't know that I was going to be on the show today.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
of course,
It's
I
an
didn't read the book.
emergency
There wasn't on my
situation.
list.
Okay,
You
what
know
book
what?
is on your list?
I mean, I finally finished Range by David Epstein, and then the next book that this has nothing to do with this topic, but just randomly.
Well, that's what I was going for.
All right, but this next book that I'm planning to read is by Brandon Turner, and it's like the rental property investing book, like totally unrelated to like picking your passions or something. But hey,
Next time. So, we're going to read Black Privilege by Charlemagne the God.
Oh, you're not gonna read The Mind Playing Tricks on Me?
I will read that too, because anxiety and all of that, 'Tis the season. What?
All right, I do want to take a pivot. I want to know, like, how do you deal with anxiety?
Well, for me, if I'm grounded enough, I can like talk myself down and be like, okay, in this moment, this is where we are. In this moment, like nothing else is here right now. Everything in your head is not real because it's not in this moment. But sometimes I just gotta let it go. Like I think I've only had like 2 anxiety attacks in my life. One recently, one a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned through the recent one that sometimes you just gotta let it go. This time, thankfully, somebody was there to like guide me out of it. But looking back on it, it's just like, okay, this kind of showed me where I am. This showed me what I need to do. So take this information. Like in my breakdown, I said all these things, and that's telling me what I need. So in the future, take this information and work it. Like get what you need. So
Okay.
yeah. But I'm
always curious about how people deal with, especially like breakdowns. Like if you or a point where you feel like you feel overwhelmed, or you a point where you just feel like somewhat hopeless and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we all kind of get that at some point. Some more intense than others.
Yeah.
How do you deal with it at different intensity levels?
Yeah.
And is that someone's poison? Is
Absolutely.
anxiety sometimes someone's poison,
Yeah.
and that develops into a hurdle that, you know, you either get over the hurdle or learn how to jump the hurdles as they come,
Yeah.
or you let the hurdles trip you up.
Exactly. And I've been through places where I did just accept the anxiety as myself, and you get nowhere doing that. Like I've learned, just like I said, you have to go back and seek what you need and then go get it. But when you embrace it as who you are, when you say, oh, I'm just anxious, or I have anxiety, this is why, blah, 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 you have to know that that's not everything. Like that's not all of you. It's just something that you deal with and you can move forward. So, yeah.
What do you think? Or I don't want this to turn to kind of like an anxiety
It's okay.
conversation, but it's like
Ignore the title, guys. We're all off.
in the realm of like dealing with your poisons, it's just like, well, what do you think differs between people who may have the same level of intensity as far as anxiety goes, but one person seems to deal with it in a better manner than the other? How do you differentiate, or how can the person that doesn't necessarily have the coping mechanisms or the dealing mechanisms get to a point where they can be in a better mind space, in a better head space, and be more in control of who they are as a whole, or what they deal with, for lack of a better phrase?
I think honestly, especially from my experience, you have to have support around you. You have to have good people with good intentions for you around you. Because there's a quote that says people with depression are living in the past and people with anxiety are living in the future.
Okay.
So you have to have grounded people around you who can make you present, who can make you step outside of your head and see exactly where you are.
So your circle is very imperative in not only how you deal with and or navigate in life, but in which the quality you do so.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. That's our inspiration.
That's really dope. That's really dope. So what do you feel about choosing a passion, necessarily one that necessarily makes you happy versus one that actually
Fulfills you?
kind of that you channel into a career? Because I feel like we as people have multiple passions, but some passions are meant to be purely creative. Some passions are meant to be kind of that career move. Some passions are meant to kind of like keep you grounded, or maybe keep you in shape.
Yeah.
Or, you know, may keep you kind of like just like perky or something like that, or like get you out of your own funk. That it may not even necessarily be creative, but just like kind of gets the juices flowing.
Yeah.
How do you differentiate? How do you channel different passions for different segments of your life as a multi-passionate person?
I feel like everybody, first of all, doesn't turn their passion into a career.
Okay.
I don't think I mean, it would be beautiful if everybody could, but some people just don't. And some people think I think because some people think that it's just supposed to be one thing, like I'm passionate about the guitar, I must play the guitar, otherwise my passion is not my career. Or I play the guitar, so even though I'm not playing the guitar everywhere, like I can produce for people, I'm musically intelligent, I can do other things for people that isn't just me on stage playing the guitar.
Do you think that sometimes people pursue the wrong passion as their career when a different passion should have been their career?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, probably. I think it's all like a learning thing. Like you just learn as you go. And even if they're in it now, doesn't mean that that's the end. Doesn't mean that they can't find it.
They may switch it up. And I think I may have said this before. Like I totally understand the dad band thing because it's literally like that's like the creative passion that this person has. They don't want to turn it into a career. They don't want to try and make money off of it.
Yeah.
They just want to be able to do this thing with their friends every week because that's part of what makes them happy. I think some of the simplest. Some of the greatest pleasures in life are the simplest, and being able to just be creative with your friends sometimes really is that. And I didn't really even internalize that into this year. But I also think that some people, and y'all out there, let me know if y'all agree or not. I feel like some people turn the wrong passion into the career and they end up hating it.
Yeah.
Because now it's kind of like, oh, this is the thing I do for money, and it's just like it's kind of diluted it.
Is it that they turn the wrong thing into career, or is it that the fact that it's career now, does that just dilute it?
I think it's a little bit of both. Like, let me put it like this. I think Will Smith really loves rapping. Will Smith loved rapping so much that after he had turned it into a career, but then saw that he could be an actor, he stopped rapping, not only because he wasn't like the greatest at it, but it brought him so much joy that if he were to pursue it hardcore, he would not like rapping anymore.
And yet, everybody knows, every generation knows his rap.
I mean, kind of, sort of, but like, for real, we really know Will Smith for his acting.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he took a different passion and he said, no, I'm not gonna do this thing as my main source of income. I'm gonna switch it to here, so now I can still do this thing for fun whenever I want to, but it doesn't have to be my main focus.
But what if the rapping wasn't the creative, or it wasn't the passion in the first place? What if it was just the being creative, just that?
I think the acting, I don't know. I think, well, all right, so one, I feel like Will Smith's in a weird predicament where, like, his creative thing is the thing that makes him money and kind of keeps him in shape. Like, you know, because he has to do, like, Bad Boys and then do stunts, so he works out for stuff like that. Then he acts, which that's creative, but then that's still all wrapped up in the fact that that's kind of, like, part of his wealth. So he did kind of wrap that all into one, but it's not like, I feel like, I feel like banking on the other week's topic as far as pivoting, he did make a major pivot. He did. Just how Ice Cube did. Yeah. Ice Cube was a very successful rapper, but then he pivoted because he was like, how long can I really thug rap for?
And he's still very successful in everything.
Yeah, but it's just like, I feel like people, and that's to the point that you made, that people shift from one thing being their main thing to the other. And man, I didn't know that this tied into the other week's topic so well, but it's just like, like
everything is connected. No
matter what point you are in life, I think we end up pivoting, and just how
we should.
You think that's just a natural occurrence now? But I don't think people did that in the past. Like, I don't think our like grandparents did stuff like that. Why do you think that's more prevalent now? Why do you think people are more prone to switching it up now?
The horizon is so much broader, and opportunity is everywhere, and people are much more open to anything. Like, everything is a thing.
Sheree said, hey, what's going on?
Hey, Reese.
Hop into this conversation.
Yeah.
But keep going.
But yeah, everything is a thing. Like, everything. It's weird. But yeah, there's just so much on the horizon now. So maybe they didn't have that.
Now, here's the question. Do you think a lot of our elders skipped out on a lot of their passions kind of sacrificing that for us so we would be able to have that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you think that was fair for them?
I don't know if fair is I don't think that that's a thing.
What do you mean?
It's just life. Like, it's not fair and unfair. It's just, it is what it is.
Hey, what's going on, Tanaka? What's going on, Janae? I just wanted to say what's up to people.
But yeah, I just feel like, you know, I feel like a lot of them saw it as like, I have to take care of my home, responsibility. I don't have time to do this. And plus, everything was kind of hands-on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you had to, well, I don't know how far I'm thinking back, but I'm thinking back to, like, having to go out on the farm and, like, pick this food. Like, I don't have time to be in the bar singing these songs, hoping to make a career out of it, because so much has to be done. Now, you can have an app to grocery shop for you. And
I feel like technology makes our lives more convenient, but it also makes it a crutch.
Yeah.
But do you think technology makes it more feasible to not only chase our dreams and pursue our passions, but actually achieve them as goals?
Yeah.
Okay, how do you feel like technology actually helps us to achieve our goals and fulfill our passions?
Because technology, like with social media especially, like everybody's in the same room. Even if they're not your Facebook friends, you're still, like, you can still reach them because things go viral all the time. Like, everybody's in the same room. There's something, like I said, for everything. You can grocery shop, you can get, make appointments, stuff like that. Like, you can go to the doctor online and they'll prescribe, like, you could do all these things online. And yeah, it becomes a crutch, but also it allows so much freedom for you to either get trapped inside your head or express what's in your head.
And kind of release, yeah. We got a comment from Janae that says, I feel like there were some elders who were afraid to pursue their passions because they weren't the normal everyday career or whatever. And she feels like technology makes it easier kind of to pursue your passions, pursue different careers, and or even pivot. Yeah, and I think breakthroughs with even apps like Steady that just came out, that's backed by Shaquille O'Neal. This is not a this isn't sponsored by that. But if y'all do want to sponsor the show, that would be dope. Or apps like, you know, like Fiverr, you know, kind of give people the ability to have side hustles.
Exactly.
But do you think, you know, we're in an age where, you know, somebody working for a company for 35, 40 years and then retiring and getting a pension, like that's no more. But kind of sort of that job security really isn't there anymore in the grand scheme of things. It's rare. And, you know, work cultures, people need to shift, and or people become bogged down in the environment that they're in. It may not necessarily be the job. It may not necessarily be their friends, but just like maybe the physical location. Or some people, all right, some of y'all are in the perfect environment, y'all just surrounded by the wrong people. And that's another thing. I feel like a lot of people are in the environment that they're meant to be in, but they think they're in the wrong environment because they have the wrong people around them.
Oh my God, is it me?
What? Like you're in the right environment but around the wrong people?
No.
I'm bad for her, y'all. I'm a bad friend. I'm taboo. But I feel like that's where a spirit of discernment kind of comes in. Janae said, "Amen, hallelujah." But I think that people need to have a better spirit of discernment. And this is not trying to get super spiritual or anything, but it's just
it is what it is.
Being able to figure out not only the fact that something is wrong, but the thing that you may think is wrong may not be the thing that's wrong, and you may be overlooking something where it may be even more minute than you think. Like it's like, oh, well, I have to start over, and it's just like, no, you don't need to start over. You need to just stop doing this one thing, or like you just need to not go there. Like you need to just not do that. And I feel like we have. All right, so we got.
Wait, no, stay right here because we need to hear this.
All right, we gonna get to these. Tanaka, I see you got a comment, and now I see you got a comment, but it's just like, we get things like anxiety and things like stress and things like having that burden, I feel like tend to make us overthink.
Yeah.
And we become too critical and we start to become over analytical.
Yes.
And a lot of times the problems that we deal with, we are putting imaginary weight on top of the real weight. When if we would let off the imaginary weight, we would see that we would be able to actually lift the things off of us that we're dealing with. But that's I ain't mean to get all into that.
I feel so light right now.
Yeah, it's just like sometimes you just gotta lift those things off that you've been putting on yourself.
But you know what? Sometimes making that, we'll get to you guys, I promise. Sometimes, because you keep looking like we gotta talk to these people.
No,
Go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna say these real quick. Please don't forget what you say. Tanaka said, my dad, born in Zimbabwe, wanted to be an auto mechanic. Very hands-on, passion-based career, but was directed towards academia because Zimbabwe had very few cars at the time. The right passion, wrong environment.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
Janae said, start speaking in tongues. And she said, currently what I'm doing now is just reevaluating. Oh my goodness, anxiety and stress keeps me from being great. Shaking my head.
Yeah.
All right,
Exactly.
So what you want to hit on? I didn't want you to forget what you said.
No, I didn't forget.
All right.
Whew. Okay.
Whew.
So I think that even though sometimes you are in the right place, but you just can't see it because of all that stress and the anxiety, I feel like sometimes you have to move out of it so that you can release all of that, and then you can see where you are. Because anybody could tell you, no, you're in the right place. I would hate for it, and I don't think if it's yours, it's going to be yours. But I don't think that, you would miss that opportunity. You might miss a opportunity, but even if it takes a while, it will come back around to you if it's for you.
One thing that I think is really, that I don't want to relate this to sports, but this is the only thing I can think of. Sometimes people leave the environment to make it easier to come back home. If that makes sense. So the one example I think of is Kyrie Irving. So Kyrie Irving played for the Cavs. He thought the Cavs was going to be his team. Then, LeBron comes back. Then he's kind of like second fiddle to LeBron. Then he goes to the Celtics. Celtics don't really do that great, but they get really far. But his real goal in life is to get back home. So now he's back in New York. And he's playing for the Nets. But that don't matter. But it's just like, it's kind of like his journey came full circle.
Yeah.
It wasn't the wrong passion, and it wasn't the wrong environment, but he had to be somewhere else to get back to where he wanted to be from. So his original position may not have been bad, but he had to leave his position to be able to come back.
Exactly.
And like I said, we move all the time from place to place. And honestly, I feel like millennials, we're like almost 40 now, you guys, the older millennials. So we're not like children. But
we're not almost 40 either.
Yeah, well, older millennials are almost 40.
Are they?
And
They're
the younger,
millennials?
Yeah. Yeah, Gen Xers start at like 40, 41, or whatever, and then they go up to like...
I don't think that they know that they're millennials like this, because they still be... Go ahead,
Y'all old millennials are millennials too. But we kind of get a bad rap for not committing or not necessarily being able to have a stick-to-itiveness. But I think... Keep going. No, go ahead.
No, because I just wrote about that commitment as far as dreams and everything else above. I feel like even with earth, land, and sky, I feel like we miss so much of what's in between our starting point and our ending point because we feel like we can see the end, but the sky is even an illusion. It's just like we don't pay attention to all that could be because we feel like we can see the end, or we feel like there's so much more out there, or we feel like there's not a straight path or anything like that. So it feels hard to commit to something, but I feel like you have to really hone in on what's in you and like trust your process, trust your journey, knowing that it's yours and there's so much to like experience between now and the end, because you can't really see the end. Everybody thinks that they can, but you can't. Okay.
I feel like when we give ourselves end goals for especially our passions, when we allow what happens when we reach that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You said
we don't give ourselves the for lack of a better phrase, the ability to evolve ourselves even more, to require more of ourselves to do more. So it's like, yeah, you achieved this goal, but it's just like there's still more to do.
So much more. Yes.
And it's just like I'm happy that you got to
full
that next.
right now. Hold on, we got so much to say. Go ahead. Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh, I'm happy, you got to that next step, but it's just like, what else can you do from here? Because I feel like as long as there's breath in your body, there's more that you need to be able to do to move forward, and you should never give up on that. And the one thing, this is a day in therapy that I actually had. I asked my physical therapist. I was like, because it tends to be a good amount of like older people in therapy. So I'm like looking around and I see people at different levels, and I asked my physical therapist, I'm like, what's the difference between somebody in here, two people that are elderly that are the same age, and one person seems to start excelling and pushing through, and the other person seems to just be stuck or they plateau. He was like, they just don't give up. Like, and the fact of the matter is, he kind of like brought it to me. He was like, all right, some people may be a little bit more out of shape than somebody else, blah, blah, blah. But the fact of the matter is, if they just keep at it, they'll still be able to do it. They'll still, they'll be able to get to it. They may not be.
Shonda talked about that in her book too.
Who did?
Shonda Rhimes. She was talking about doing planks.
Okay.
Yeah, she and a friend of hers, they were both doing planks, and the one girl, her friend, could always do it, and it seemed like she was doing it perfectly.
Almost effortlessly.
And, effortlessly. And Shonda just could not get it, and she's just like, what the heck? But she started watching her and observing her, and she realized that, because I guess Shonda's issue was that her muscles would start to give, so she would just let them. But she, by observing her friend, she noticed that when her muscles were about to give, she got ahead of it. And she...
Picked her poison.
Yeah, she got ahead of it.
Come on,
she got ahead of it and adjusted herself so that she could survive, so that she could keep going. Okay.
I like that. Janae put that what's for you will always be for you is the motto for me this season. I'm done putting a timeline on stuff. And I feel like that's another thing.
Yeah.
People who have similar passions and or are dealing with similar poisons tend to compare themselves to somebody else. And we always have that thought process of like, man, maybe the grass is greener on the other side. And it's like, yeah, maybe their grass is greener, but you know what? Maybe
shit on it.
Well, even this. I always thought about this. Their grass is greener on the other side, but what if they're getting up every morning and make sure that they're watering it? What if they're getting up every day and make sure that they're fertilizing it? What if every week they making sure that they cutting their grass? What if they making sure that they do their landscaping? What if they making sure that they edging up their yard? So their grass is greener, but they're putting in the work
and
for it to stay green.
First of all, that you have grass.
Come on now, because you could be having to put down mulch for this drought season.
That roll out plastic turf stuff.
Janae said we giving her chills. What's going on? Yeah, I'm glad we able to speak some life tonight, because I didn't know that this was gonna come out tonight. Hallelujah.
Just go with it. Just go with it.
But I really like the point of you kind of bringing up Shonda Rhimes not being able to hold that plank position, because sometimes we get in situations where sometimes we have to be still. But the funny thing about being still is it ain't easy. How you can see in a plank position, you're holding yourself upright in a certain position. And a lot of times we feel like peace, be still means to relax. But sometimes steadfast or be still means to hold yourself in this position, because you're going to find your breakthrough when you can get through over this hurdle.
Yes, and keep looking, be observant, be present. That's what I feel like that's what it is to be still, to be present, and to see all that's around you, so that you can keep going and know where you came from and all of that. Oh, this is beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, this is great.
Okay, there was something that I had to say though.
Go ahead.
It was about the timeline and all of that. Just a gem that I got from my auntie, you guys. She taught me, because I am one who quickly looks at the future, and I see the vision and I immediately see what I want the end goal to be. And it's overwhelming to me, and it causes me to stop even, or to just take too long. I'm trying to stop cussing. But to take too long. But she told me, okay, make out a list. You need to write down short-term goals. Not even like, pick this venue or anything like that. Write down the vision. That's a goal right there. Applaud yourself, celebrate, keep going. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And eventually you will have it done, and you'll be looking at this vision that you had in your head and see things that you imagine. Shout out to Solange.
I like that.
But
I like that short-term goal idea.
Yeah.
I think I think we can capitalize on non-correlated short-term decision making, or I don't know what I want to call it right now, but it's like non-correlated achievements. So like small things that non-correlated disciplines. There we go. That's and y'all gonna see what I'm getting at right now.
Non-correlated disciplines.
One small goal day by day. Yes, Jeanette.
Yeah.
But what I like is this: something as simple as making your bed every day. And it's just like, all right, I'm gonna make my bed first thing in the morning every day this week. And that small discipline that you put in yourself may manifest itself in other areas of your life.
Yeah.
So starting small with something that does not even correlate to the grand goal that you're trying to achieve, but it's a small discipline that you're able to root yourself in.
Yeah.
It will then begin to build upon itself and manifest into other areas, and then you're able to capitalize on the fact that you are becoming more and more disciplined.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, and I got this from Shonda Rhimes, where she also
Shonda
pointed
is
out
in the room tonight.
what she pointed out one time in a NPR interview is that a lot of times, a lot of our creativity works within the fact that we have restrictions.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we want to be free. We want to think
need those
outside about.
restrictions.
Yes. A lot of times your best creative work is because you cannot do this thing,
Yeah.
or you don't have the resources to do this thing,
Yeah.
or
That
you don't have the
frustrates me.
wherewithal to do this thing. But then it makes you figure out how to achieve
do
the
it.
similar goal without having that necessary resource or that asset.
And it's all about progression, because once you do that, you can find those resources, because now you have a blueprint. Okay.
Yeah, and I think once you're able to make much with little, you're then given more to make more with.
Exactly.
And you're able to multiply that on top of itself, and it begins to compound, and it begins to be able to, for lack of a better phrase, populate in a way that you didn't see before. And I feel like a lot of times, when you hear, what's going on, Ariel? She says, small disciplines. I like that. Good stuff, Willie B. Thank you for tuning in. I think a lot of times when we allow things to multiply, and we see things like, you'll see it biblically, and it's kind of like you have blessings, twofold, fourfold, tenfold, etc. But a lot of times those blessings happen because you were able to do so much with so little, so then you open that door, and now you're given access to more, and because you had the wherewithal to make this work, now you're able to make this work, and it's now in a space where it's more, for lack of a better phrase, blessings than you can even have, and then you're in a place where now you've got to give those blessings away.
Absolutely.
And when you really think about picking your poisons or dealing with your poisons, a lot of times dealing with the poison of restriction is what actually frees you and gets you to a point where you're able to work without boundaries, without restrictions, without any type of chains bonding you or holding you down, because you had to figure out how to accomplish the goal with the chains on. So when you learn to take the chains off, you are able to then take that clay and then mold it into a bigger pot. So now that pot can hold more. And then now you have so much in that pot that you can't drink it all. So now you got to share what's in that pot with somebody else.
There was water in the pot, or was it wine?
That's all I got today. That's all I got. I'm gonna have to redo
Somebody
this
get the
video.
collection plate.
Hallelujah, amen.
All proceeds to.
Oh man. All right, but my bad. I ain't mean to take up that whole thing. I ain't mean to take up that whole thing. Manny just commented. He said, if you can't achieve a big goal, figure out the small stuff you can do. I don't know how to sell a car, but I know how to take pics of your car. I don't know, but I know how to upload those pics. I don't know how to sell a car, but I know how to write a description about my car, etc. So yeah, if you can't do specific tasks, you can do a lot of things related to that task. And you can eventually get to the point where now you know so much about this thing that you're able to, I like that. You're able to capitalize off of the larger opportunity, because you've prepared yourself by surrounding yourself in that opportunity's environment.
More information.
And you have, that's a good point. So, all right, I like the point that Manny kind of presented. You're putting yourself in opportunity's way.
Yeah.
So when you're really thinking about choosing your passion, or or advancing yourself, you have to put yourself in the way of opportunity. Just how a lot of times we end up running into a lot of mistakes because we put ourselves in opportunity's way of something bad. When you put yourself in the way of something that's good and prepare yourself from that opportunity, that's when they say luck really happens. But I feel like really when you really meet your opportunity with your preparation, that's when you really step into your destiny and you step into the providence that's really supposed to happen for your life.
Exactly. And that goes with passion, and that goes with everything else. Like, for me, it started with going to the gym. Like, my excuse will always be like, oh, I just got home, I don't want to go back. But you put those gym shoes in the car, you have no excuse. Like, you put yourself in position to be prepared to do what you said you were going to do. And then that unfolds everywhere else, like you said earlier.
Yeah, I think, just unfold your future. That's really great. That's really great.
Write that down.
Ooh, man, that was a good conversation.
You sweating?
Yeah. Phew.
Well, are you ready to?
Yeah, we're gonna close out this. We're gonna do an altar call. No, I'm playing. We not.
What's the moral of this conversation? The moral of the story.
I think the moral of this whole story is don't be afraid to put yourself in the way of opportunity.
Yes.
That's what I really think when it comes to dealing with your poisons, to make yourself better, knowing that you have to sacrifice, and when it comes to choosing the right passions, both of those deal with having to put yourself in the way of opportunity and preparing yourself for it. What about yourself?
I would say that you need to acknowledge and recognize your poisons, what they are, and use them to your advantage. Just like you said, put yourself in position, use those poisons to take you forward and not backwards, not stagnant. Keep going.
All right, I rock with that. Man, if you like what you watched, if you like what you was listening to, if you got a little word from this, make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification. Please follow and subscribe to us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. Make sure that you follow Favor. Her name is correct over there, but this is not correct over here, so I'm not Ray. But make sure you follow Ray too. She'll be back next week. Before we close out, is there anywhere you're like performing soon where people can catch you? Anywhere people can catch you online? Anything that you have online that you want people to listen to?
Absolutely.
Hit us with all of that.
All right, so you can catch me next weekend in Cleveland at the Rebar. That's going to be at, I believe, 9 o'clock again in Cleveland at the Rebar. Also, you can catch my interview with Cam on Z88 on Monday, 10 p.m. I'll be playing some of my music and just be talking to Cam. And you can follow me, officially Favor, like I said at the bottom. And yeah.
And we can catch your project.
Yeah, listen to my new single, SLIN, as well as my project, Something Borrowed, available on all streaming platforms. My name is Favor. Thank you.
I'm Willie B.
This has been your reality check.
Exactly.